This is chapter 22, video lecture number 6. We have 4 reactions left to cover. So we are on page 55 in the notes. And the 4th reaction overall is called fermentation. Fermentation is a reaction in which yeast or bacteria is used to ferment glucose to produce alcohol. It occurs in the absence of oxygen, so you notice on the glucose side we are not reacting it with oxygen like we did with combustion. And the products, we see ethanol, 2 carbons with an OH ending, carbon dioxide, and energy. So it's kind of interesting that with fermentation, if you were to take grapes and ferment them, you would get wine. If you took potatoes and fermented them, you would get vodka. Corn would make whiskey. And hops would make beer. The next reaction is called saponification. We really don't need to know a lot from this, but the first 4 letters tell you what's happening. It is the process of making soap. So here we have molecules that we really don't have to put any time into. The important thing is that these large molecules react with a base, which is sodium hydroxide, and they will form glycerol, and soap. So soap has a charged end and it has a non-polar end. The charged end of the soap is attracted to water. The non-polar end dissolves grease, and then when you wash clothes, as the water is taken out of the washing machine, the dissolved grease in the nonpolar end of the soap molecule will then leave with the water because the charged end of the soap molecule is attracted to the water. But really, saponification is just the process of making soap. The 6th reaction is a polymerization reaction. This is a reaction in which monomers, which are small molecules, are combined or bonded together to form polymers. So here we have styrene, a simple molecule, but when joined together, they form polystyrene. So polystyrene is a polymer of styrene. We need to know some natural polymers. So natural polymers would include starch, proteins, and DNA, whereas synthetic polymers would include nylon, dacron, and plastics. In the reaction, we have X, which stands for many, monomers. In this case, this is ethene. which is sometimes called ethylene. When polymerization occurs, we end up forming not 1,000 or so small molecules, but one big molecule of 1,000 small parts, which is polyethylene. Which is a form of plastic. So in polymerization, monomers are joined together, are bonded to form polymers. Our seventh reaction is esterification. It's a reaction that involves a carboxyl group, which is a COOH, in which the hydrogen of a hydroxyl group, which is OH, is replaced by an alkyl group. So let's go ahead and just draw one. Here is an organic molecule, and we should know this is ethanoic acid. Which is also known as acetic acid. It will react with this molecule, which I'm kind of drawing backwards, but because it has just an OH, it is ethanol. So in esterification, we combine an acid and an alcohol, and we end up forming, oops, get that out of there. Here is our ester, part of the acid. And then here is the ethyl, the alkyl part of the molecule. And it formed when the H of the carboxyl group combined with the OH of the alcohol group and also formed water. So here's our alkyl group of 2 carbons. So that is ethyl. Here is the acid part, which is ethanoic acid. So it's ethyl ethanoate, which they sometimes call ethyl acetate. So in an esterification reaction, an acid and an alcohol combine to form an ester and water. Esters oops, I did it here too. Got to get rid of that bond. Esters are sweet smelling fragrances. Like apple scent, banana, pear. So they are fragrances. And that's it. So we are done with chapter 22. Sorry for my couple of mistakes there. And we will see you in class.